Hello legends, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, me Dragon Ball McQueen, and welcome to a video that's been in the making for about 4 weeks. So I decided to set myself the challenge of hitting 100 crowns in 4 weeks, which sounds easy, but I was at about 25 partway through week 2 of Blitz when I decided to take up the challenge. I'm also a lot older than the average Fortnite player at nearly half a century. When I started playing games, it was Space Invaders, Pac-Man and things like that. So I definitely had my work cut out. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So whether it was through stolen valor by taking a crown off someone, or simply by continuing a win streak, I would get these crowns any way I could. You know, this is what I think Blitz is really about. Bullets flying everywhere, guns are blazing. This is how I was enjoying the early games. I'd probably put this poor aim down to nerves or just anticipation of trying to get that crown win. Did you see that snap to the right? Because I don't know what caused it, but it seems certain weapons, when you switch to them, have a snap to the right before they centre on where your cursor is actually pointing. It's bizarre, to be honest with you. So I kept pushing forward to get those crown wins, and this particularly pleased me. A Ferrari skin, particularly sweaty players. Whenever I took it down, a particularly sweaty skin like a Blitz Knight, a superhero skin or anything like that, I was really happy. Quick crown check, we're at 35 crowns. Still a long way to go. this was either an AFK player or AI gone wrong. Either way, I didn't feel too bad about taking him out. I think I was just purely angry at having to chase this player around all over the place using the airbender mythic, so I just unleashed my anger with like Nitro running through everything, just chasing them down, determined to make them face me. There's nothing deadlier than Chun-Li's scorn, eh? But yeah, that was a deserved win. But I was still a little bit behind my planned calculations, but I knew with streaming and stuff, some of the crown wins I would get would be through streaming at night and perhaps with the assistance of a friend, but I didn't. Most of it was all my own work. And here we have a classic example of AI having a bit of a problem, so I decided to free them so they can actually face me in combat. But yeah, it was inevitable what was going to happen. Just had to double check whether that was a mythic worth getting. No, it's one I've got already, so I left it and returned to the battle. Nearly halfway there with 45 crown wins. He stole my kill. And then I had some trouble with, yeah, you guessed it. Well, you'll see in a minute which skin it is. With every win I was getting closer to my goal, but with every win it still seemed like the 100 crown goal was very, very far away. And I was only about halfway through the challenge and we were almost in week 3. Okay, I see what this guy was trying to do. And I was not about to fall victim to the storm or his hammer. Oh no you don't. I saw what he was up to. Had to put an end to that. What goes up must come down. It's the final boss, a superhero trainer wearing skin. Hey, come back and play. Sometimes these dashes cause more problems than they solve. I'll have that, thank you. So close and yet so far. I swear he thinks he's the big bad wolf, but he didn't expect this little piggy to have an assault rifle. Every good story needs an arch nemesis, and that was ours for this little story. Advantage Dragonborn, set point. I did want to bully that guy, but it didn't work. Now, no furry convention in here, and here comes the fish in black. Bold defender. I could ignore one little shot, but that one, nah, no chance. Time to end this. I just reduced Juice WRLD to pulp. No finesse, but it worked. Yeah, it was a pretty bad ending, but I was just sort of stuck in a loop. I was hoping to flick them out. Oh, and this really, I really enjoyed this. Oh, this guy, I was like, okay. The obligatory third party, and yeah, it didn't pay off, did it, mate? Oh, the green goblin gobbling up bullets, and yeah, That's mine. Thank you very much. After such an amazing battle with Groot, I was kind of disappointed by this battle with Deadpool. I expected more from him. So desperate to go to the void, I sent her there permanently. Yeah, this was particularly bad. I couldn't decide whether it was a bot or just someone like a bit nervous. But yeah, I missed a few shots and then steadied my aims and just ended it. Whoops, loads of footprints around me. Time to get out of here quickly. Yeah, guns are blazing, bullets flying, usual Blitz situation. And also in a minute, watch out for the Vanguard skin. She steals a few of my kills. Ow, ow, ow! Everyone stop, I think I've got a splinter. I don't know what he hoped to achieve there, but yeah, now it's time to have some fun with the final player. I've decided I'm going to use the shockwave grenade launcher. Didn't expect it to fire me out of there, but you know, these things happen. over halfway there, time to get this closed down and finished. I was going at it full force, trying to get as many crown victory royales as I could. I love how AI can just walk through doors, you know. It feels like they've got a slight advantage there. Oh, this has to be the world's worst hide and seek player, but me, I'm quite good at it. As Laser Beam, hide and seek champion here. Look at him running around looking for me. Footsteps going everywhere. Okay, time to finish it now. I love the sheer desperation of bullets flying towards me, and it's like, well, it's too late now. This was the first night of the turtle update week, as you can probably tell from the bow, and yeah, I hadn't really used these weapons before, so it was just trying to get used to them and work out what the meta was. And I'm being third-partied by Axon and Miku, as usual. Quick crown check, but there's still a long way to go. So yeah, I just cracked on with it. At this point the end was so close but yet so far. You know, less than 30 crowns needed, but it just seemed a little bit more like obtainable, but almost just out of reach. I was almost spoiled for choice for targets here. I don't know whether it was a bot convention or whether it just happened to be some players with poor aim. I still can't decide. I think this is a real player, but yeah, that dealt with them. And I finally get a chance to let loose with the Typhoon Blade, which I've been wanting to do for ages, and yeah, I put it to real good use, as you can see here. Ice Spice stole my kill, so yeah, I had to turn her into an ice sculpture. That was so close, but yeah, I got the mythic version of the Typhoon Blade with Snoop Dogg, so I could really just run around like crazy and not worry about durability whatsoever. After Wednesday night though, I was ahead of my planned schedule, so I was like, Thursday I could get away with doing about 4 crown wins, but then this happened. The sweat seemed to be out in force and things just totally went downhill, and it changed my mood for the rest of going into the weekend for the final end of the challenge. I had to fight in some of the sweatiest lobbies I've been in ages and just deal with people, and it was grueling and hard, and getting every crown win was just like a monumental feat, as you'll see as we battle our way closer to victory. I thought the sweats were generally in zero build reload, not in Blitz, but yeah, they seem to have migrated over towards Blitz. I'd also worked out by this point that doing less engagements would get me close to the victory, and it would be easier if I could just sort of avoid the combat and just stay on the fringes of the storm a lot of the time. But yeah, I was moving closer and closer, but it was really hard. But I wanted to be like on 90 going into the weekend, so I'd only have to do 5 crown wins on Saturday and 5 crown wins on Sunday and be done, because I was at work on Monday. Choke in a top 3 situation and then yeah, fall behind must have been awful. But yeah, the end was in sight. It was time to put this to bed. So the Saturday went as planned and I was on target going into Sunday. I only needed 4 more crowns to reach 100. And Sunday brought out all the sweat. I had to fight really, really hard again. It was like going the way of the Thursday. It wasn't until Sunday afternoon, sort of getting towards evening times, that I actually got my first crown victory, which is here with Superman. Then this happened. Yep, I got goldfished. I had to include that because I thought it was good. But yeah, I got the rift launcher, which is quite rare, so I decided to use it to good effect. Avoided a lot of the combat and just joined in with the final battles. "99 down, 1 more to go," and I was feeling pretty happy about this as I went into these final couple of games to try and get that crown victory. So that was the story of how I got 100 crown wins. It took me 4 weeks and a lot of editing, a lot of work, but it goes to show that you can teach an old dog new tricks. I definitely think you can see a progression in my Fortnite gameplay as you go through the game, and also my accuracy is generally 20 to 40%, so it's not very good. I'm not a skilled player at all. I tend to play Fortnite more for fun. So that really did push me. I appreciate you watching. If you watched it to the end, hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. It helps me fight against the algorithm and gets this in front of more eyes so that more people can enjoy it. But that leads me on to the final thing to say. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time, legends. Goodbye.